A fine mist falling at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. But as we said a moment ago, not much wind, and that's the good news. A line drive kickoff bounces in front of Del Pino, and he just has to fall on it. Wisely did not try to pick it up. The Ram quarterback, third in the NFL. What an outstanding year Jim Everett had in '89. In front of him, three guys out of that group going to the Pro Bowl. Newberry, Smith, and Slater. Duval Love is the right guard. Pankey the left tackle. The backs, Greg Bell, Buford McGee at fullback. Willie Anderson and Henry Ellard wide. When they go four, it'll be Cox as one of them and Brown the other. Ellard is the man in motion. And Everett goes right to work. Outside to Greg Bell. First down Rams. Moore. Bell out to the 40. Cut down by Andre Waters. The Philadelphia defensive line, White, Pitts, Brown, and Simmons. Names becoming more and more familiar. The linebackers, Joyner, Evans in the middle, having a good year, and Al Harris. Jenkins and Everett start at cornerback. Hopkins and Waters, the hard-hitting safeties. When they go six, it's Lilly and Frizzell. First and 10 Rams at their own 40. Looks like he's changing the play. Gives the bell. It's smothered by White.
Numbers on the field and the sideline.
Everett said in that same discussion, I'm going to have to be willing to take some sacks, and I'm going to have to be alert enough to get it into the flat. Quickly he goes there again. That's Del Pino. Taken out of bounds by Eric Everett. Del Pino. Anderson on the right, Ellard on the left. Bell. And Greg Bell gets inside the Eagle 40 behind Everett. Ramon Johnson, the tight end. Here is Everett, wants to throw it. Pass is caught by Ellard. Ram touchdown. He out-jumped Isaiah Jenkins. Touchdown pass, quieted the stadium considerably.
That was the thing Jim Everett was saying, and John Robinson, that this is the type of thing. We're going to have some bad plays. We may have a whole lot of bad plays, but the way they play defense, we're going to get some big plays. Watch Henry Ellard. He's going against Isaiah Jenkins here. Now Jenkins goes in front of him. See, he takes that fight and goes for the ball in front of him. He misjudges it. And then when Ellard catches it, now he's behind Jenkins.
Extra point is good by McFadden. And the Rams take a quick 7-0 lead in this wild card contest. The touchdown again.
Again, this is what it starts with. Good pass protection, and these types of things can happen.
And the Rams lead 7-0 early in the first quarter. The fog game last year against the Bears, 27 out of 54 for him. And that's his offensive line. Alexander starting at left tackle, Shad Remington at center, Ron Sultan, Ron Heller on the right side, and Keith Jackson, the tight end. Byers will start with Tony. Carter and Ron Johnson are wide. Greg Garrity is available. Keith Sherman is starting in place of Byers. They introduced Byers, but Sherman gets the call. Tony. Sherman to the right side. A pickup of 2. The Ram defense, and there's going to be a lot of changes, but they'll begin it like this. Miller, Wright, and Peel up front. He'll go as long as he can. Green, Kelm, Strickland, and Wiltshire, the linebackers. In the secondary, Gray, Irvin, Newsom, and Stewart. And then Henley and Jackson come in when they go to 6 defensive backs. 2nd and 8. Eagles at their own 31. That's Tony. And the Rams swarm on him. 2-yard pickup. Defense led by Wiltshire.
Looks like they should have wanted something else.
3rd and 6. Myers is now in the backfield, and now he's out. Cunningham chased, and down he goes. Kevin Green tripped him up.
I think Kevin Green really tripped him up. Kevin Green was on the ground, and he just throws his leg. Watch Kevin Green. He comes from the top up there. He's coming from the outside. This is a defense where they have 4 linebackers rushing. Now they're playing 5 linebackers, 6 defensive backs. Watch Green. He goes down, and in going down, he trips Cunningham down. But that was that new dime defense.
Rick Tootin back to punt to Darrell Henley. 4th and 23. Tootin off the inside of his foot, and not much of a punt. 30 yards is all. And the Rams will take over in good shape, leading 7-0 with 10:40 left in the first quarter. Eagles. Dave Remington has started at center the last 2 games, number 50.
You know what they're talking about there is that defense where they had all the linebackers in there, and Remington is explaining to Shad, well, who'd you have over you? Who'd you have over you? Because the Rams had never shown that this year. That was the first time they saw that. There's Marv Goo. He's the defensive lineman. He's teaching Bethune right there during the game how to rush the passer.
A lot of those guys have never done that. Everett. Ellard. Tripped up at about the 16 by Eric Everett. 30-yard gain. The Rams on the move again. 1st and 10 at the Eagles 16. Pitch back to Bell. Fumble. And the Eagles get it. But they're going to say he was down.
The new commissioner's here at the game today, and I was just talking to him about that before the game.
Anderson was the man in motion. Everett threw it away.
That's a key, and the other key is he thought that the area to hit the Eagle defense basically is in the flats. Although the way it's going here, he's been hitting this defense all over in this first quarter.
3rd and 7. Rams lead at 7-0. Aaron Cox is split wide to the right this time. Ellard, the move man. Draw play to Bell. And Bell hammers down to about the 5. Near a Ram first down. A gain of 7. He's stripped up by Terry Hogue. Bell and McGee. Handoff is to Bell inside the 5 to about the 4. A gain of 2.
Have to run enough just to keep things going. But if we're going to beat the Eagles, we're going to beat them throwing the ball.
2nd and goal from the 4. Del Pino is the lone running back. Holohan in motion. Everett had to throw it away.
Del Pino was a guy that Everett wanted to throw to.
Anderson on the move again. Signaling touchdown to Damone Johnson. And now they finally, well, they haven't decided yet. Doug Smith thinks it's a touchdown.
There hasn't been an official signal touchdown yet.
They're lining up for the extra point, so obviously it must be. I didn't see anybody signal touchdown except the Rams.
See the catch. It is a touchdown.
It just barely got by the umpire.
I know it, and Damone Johnson caught the ball, and he was inside.
The play stands as ruled. Touchdown. We'll go to the extra point.
It just whizzes by the umpire here. He looked like a defender. Damone Johnson comes in, catches that ball, shields off Andre Waters. That was kind of like the basketball players do. You know where they shield the guy off and get the pass?
Lansford's extra point is good, and the Rams 14-0 now. A flag on the play. Andre Waters was the the man who jumped offside. 14-0 Rams. 7:40 left first quarter. Teammate. Nobody else from Canada ever drafted that high. Flag on the play. Cunningham incomplete. Flags on the play.
And this was the exact type of game Jim Everett thought it would be. He said, we're not going to complete every pass, although he could complete every pass today. He said, but we're going to get some big plays because they have confusion. They leave guys open. We have speed. We can outrun them. We can outrun them with this guy, Willie Flipper Anderson. I tell you, he has come up with some big throws this far.
A gain of 55 yards, Everett to Anderson.
Yeah, that's a heck of a catch there by Flipper Anderson. He had to get those hands out in front and kind of turn around.
Fumble, and the Eagles pick it off in midair. Wes Hopkins came up with the ball.
And Wes Hopkins lateraled it, that old lateral thing. They still don't know who has it.
Looked like Clyde Simmons, who was down.
That's where it got hit and knocked out.
It's back to Bell. And Bell picks up 4. Stop he and Bell. The 2 runners. It's Bell this time with some room and a Ram first down. A gain of 11 for Greg Bell. Stopped by Joyner and Hopkins. Down Rams. Bell again. Stopped this time after a very short game. Just Holohan is the man on the move. Outside Del Pino. And a first down Ram. A gain of 10.
Kind of fresh.
On second down, here comes the blitz. Everett just had to get rid of it quickly. Everett now 8 out of 14 for 183 yards. Holohan stays in the block. Everett intended for Anderson on the far sideline, incomplete. Andre Waters there with him. Rams got 2 quick ones. 3rd and 7. Out of the shotgun. As they relay the signal out to the wide receiver. Almost picked off. Intended for Tony. Through the hands of Wiltshire.
I think the Rams and their defense are a lot better when they just contain Cunningham. I don't think you need a big rush. If I were playing against Randall Cunningham, I would rather have him stay in the pocket and throw and not let him get running and throwing.
26. Everett. Ellard. They're saying he was out of bounds. Second down. Ellard goes wide to the right. Anderson to the left. Here comes the Eagle blitz. They read it. And Holohan makes the juggling reception at about the 32. West
Flaps, I counted.
3rd and 1. Bell and McGee behind Everett. Bell wide right. Reggie White stops him shy of the first down. Andre Waters with an assist. And that'll be a Ram timeout.
I think Jim Everett wants to make sure. This is a good area to go for it because it's kind of out of the range, they feel, of Lansford. Anything inside, 40, 45, Lansford's great at. You get out a little longer, it's a little tougher for him to run against this defense. I would think John Robinson realizes that, tried it on 3rd down, and will probably come back with some type of pass on 4th down.
In fact, Buddy Ryan said to us yesterday, if we don't want you to run, nobody can run. Gonna throw it. Well, first down Ram. That wasn't their choice, their original choice, but it was effective. Jerome Brown tripped up Everett.
That's a combination there. The coach is there. Well, let's run it. Let's throw it. Let's run it. Let's throw it. Let's run it. Let's throw it.
Again. Picked off by Isaiah Jenkins. Jenkins could go. Finally knocked out of bounds at about the 18. could be to break the Eagles' knee.
All the different things he's done in the first half to Reggie White.
They head for the locker room. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Rams 14, the Eagles nothing.
Nothing deep to the left, 2 for 5 in the middle, 2 for 3 to the right. Those were his big ones. Then his short control passing game is really spread it around. 3 for 5 to the left, 3 for 3 in the middle, 1 for 3 to the right short. So their game plan, Ernie Zampese, the offensive coordinator, calls the plays, has really done a pretty good job of mixing up pass and run, and also mixing up where they pass it.
2nd and 9 from the 25. Incomplete.
And in a game, and I think that has to help him in these situations.
Here comes the Eagle blitz. Everett, incomplete, intended for Ellard. 3rd down. This is the Eagles' deepest penetration into Ram territory. Up and out to Byers. And he will not get the first down. Leroy Irvin and Fred Strickland.
And this is going to be an interesting call for Buddy Ryan. What do you do here?
It'll be a 48-yard effort by Ruzick. Cavanaugh holding. That is no good. When it took off, it looked like it had plenty. But when it starts to rain and gets cold, no matter whose signature is on the ball, it just doesn't go as far. 14-0. And that's exactly what the Rams did. Holohan in motion. Everett gets it to Holohan somehow.
I tell you this.
One of the unsung matchups will be Duval Love against Mike Pitts. He said that's one of the keys. Duval Love has to block him. Holohan gets the first down from Everett. 7-yard pickup.
Yeah, the other thing John Robinson was saying, that he said everyone's saying about their front four, and he goes, I know about their front four. He said you just have to block them. I mean, what's so new about this? I mean, you don't come up with things where you get some guy from some lab who gives you a scientific experiment or something, or some computer that shoots something out.
Although he did say we got a lot of new guys on defense. In fact, some of them I haven't even met yet.
I'm playing some guys on defense I don't even know.
Everett's chase gets rid of it in the direction of Ellard, and Ellard just couldn't hold on
to that, because with the protection he's getting, he really doesn't have to do that.
He was chased by Byron Evans, who almost got there. 3rd and 15. Rams at their own 41-yard line. Everett back to throw it. Here comes an Eagle blitz. Intended for Aaron Cox. Knocked down. 2nd down and 7. Rams at the Eagle 41-yard line. Everett backpedals. And he's going to take off with it. And slide at about the 33-yard line. 7 yards. Bill. Close. But I don't know if he made it or not. Little production out of Jackson and Byers today. Caught by Garrity. That's what he does so very well. Leroy, the Rams 14, the Eagles nothing. And we now pause for a word from your local station.
Number 54, Wiltshire, in a normal, and then the 6 defensive backs.
3rd and 6. Cunningham's going to try to get around it. And he will get out of it. And get an Eagle first down. Vince Newsom finally brought him down. Goal from just inside the Ram 10. Cunningham. Byers at about the 5. Knocked backwards by Kevin Green.
Good chair.
Cunningham going to take off. He jumped through one tackler, picked up 4, and almost scored. Sean beats Sherman with Tony now the tailback. Sherman the fullback. Hand off to Tony. He's in.
Fans have learned to appreciate defense, and they tend to root for their defense and yell for their defense more than the offense.
A Ram first down at their own 24. 10 minutes, 50 seconds left to play, and the Rams lead it by a touchdown. Anderson slides and came up with it. Amazing how a 22-yard pass completion can quiet down 60,000 people. Holohan in motion, and Everett's going to go back to throw it. Outside quickly to Buford McGee. And they didn't get much out of that. Al Harris made the stop, a gain of only a yard.
Hip bothering them all year.
This is not a day that would be conducive to make you feel well. That's Bell. Outside the 20, about the 21. The Rams from their own 20. El Pino comes in motion. Everett has Buford McGee. They thought they could spring something like that. And they spring it for 16 yards and a first down.
Yeah, that's the place.
Greg Bell chased by Jenkins. Finally caught by Jenkins inside the 10. Tried to strip the ball loose, and it almost worked. A 55-yard sprint by Bell.
Everybody, no one thought that the running game would be a right here for the Rams. They needed a play. They'd gotten a pass to McGee, and then Bell makes a big run here. Good block by McGee on that one. He just picked off Hopkins enough to let Greg Bell get to the outside.
He almost knocked that ball loose.
Well, he did. He knocked it out of his right hand and into his left hand.
First and goal at the 10. And let's see who called the timeout. The Rams. Bell just went over 100 yards. 25 carries for 114 yards.
And that's the play that could send the Rams to the Giants.
I don't believe, John, that the Eagles during the regular season allowed any running back to get 100 yards.
Oh, and they've had very few rushing touchdowns in the season also. I mean, that's something that Buddy always felt. There's no one runs against us, and the Rams just stayed with it, and finally, probably when they needed it most, they popped the biggest one.
Stay with us with this Bell's part.
Good hands. That's a new definition of good hands.
To Bell. To the 6. Stopped by Reggie White. On second down. Bell again. He's close and in. Ram touchdown by Greg Bell.
Well, that's John Robinson, and I know what he's going to say. I know the first thing he's going to say to his team and say, we wore him down. That's what John Robinson preached from. I remember when he was with me as an assistant coach, when he was a head coach at USC, and here he says, we'll wear him down, we'll wear him down. And that one, they just, boom, they just popped it in there. He raised his hands, and I'll guarantee you, he said, we wore him down.
And he's done it with the running attack, which they said couldn't be done.
And hey, you talk about a guy who's done an outstanding coaching job. John Robinson with a lot of different guys.
The extra point makes it 21-7. 2 minutes and 14 seconds remaining. Bell with another big day.
You know, you think of John Robinson. I mean, he did it with a running game when he had Eric Dickerson. Then he gets Greg Bell. He always has a 1,000-yard runner. He did it. He stayed in there when Jim Everett was hurt. Then they've developed Everett. Then he did it when he didn't have a defense with no defensive linemen. The guy is a great coach at making adjustments and a great coach at using what players he has and doing with them, making the best with them.
Well, what a job he did with this guy, Greg Bell.
Oh, he's talking to him about wearing him down. He's telling him, I told you we could wear him down. He preaches, John preaches that all week, and then on Sunday he continues to preach it.
Bell when they begin the wild card game with a kickoff. Next Saturday again, a reminder here on CBS, Minnesota at San Francisco. It begins with the NFL today. That'll be at 3:30 Eastern time. And then on Sunday at 12 Eastern time, the NFL today, and then the divisional playoff game between these Rams and the New York Giants at the Meadowlands.
And of course, they played in the regular season. We did that game out in Los Angeles. The Rams were coming off a 3-game losing streak, and they beat the Giants out there in L.A. Showing here today has been excellent.
This is Jackson, tosses this out to Carter, who steps out of bounds. They're going to say it's an illegal forward pass. The lateral went forward, so it wasn't a lateral, was it?
Oh, I think it's been that kind of day for Keith Jackson. It's been one that I'm sure he's going to go home and try and forget as quickly as he can.
Pass. Offensive foul on the last play. The game is over.
The game is over. Can't end on a defensive foul, but it can on an offense. The final score is the Los Angeles Rams 21, the Eagles 7. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show with Brendan Irv. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Seem to be ready for this game. At least that's the impression you got from the pregame. However, the game started. Here's the first offensive play of the day. It's for Los Angeles. Jim Everett, their quarterback, goes to Greg Bell, and it's 23 yards. Where's the defenders? It's only the beginning. Then Everett throws up a floater. Isel Jenkins misses it, and there's Henry Ellard, and it's 7-0 Los Angeles on a 39-yard gift. Then comes the Eric Everett horror show. He started in place of the injured Eric Allen at defensive back. Henry Ellard burns Everett here. A big play right there. That'll set up Los Angeles. Everett going to Damone Johnson, the tight end. 14-0. Then Eric Everett again as Flipper Anderson just flies by him. Oh, Eric, what are you doing? He was mercifully replaced by Eric Allen. Why didn't Allen start in the first place? Eagles offense, well, there it goes, nowhere. Randall Cunningham couldn't even decide what shoes to wear, so we had one of each on. What a day it was, just flat football. 14-0 Rams until the third quarter when Heath Sherman goes 23 yards here, which will set up a fourth quarter score by Anthony Toney. It's the only Eagles touchdown of the day. Enjoy it, 14-7, 4 minutes to go in the fourth. But then Greg Bell will ring in the new year with a game-clinching 54-yard run. He didn't score there, but he will in a second. And all today, 124 yards, 21-7 final. Right there. Rain and sorrow for the Eagles today. Oh, it hurts as the whole season goes down the drain. As Rob said, wait till next year. Now, the Eagles face a long offseason in which there'll be some serious questioning. And Don Tollefson says, yes, this was a game of a lot of issues and fog.
The weather was damp and dreary, but wasn't that just what the Eagles would want against a team we'd all been told again and again can't win a winter playoff game in the East? The Eagles had their kind of weather in their stadium with their fans. The Eagles had said the home field advantage in the wild card game would be a big advantage. But then how do you explain a performance which was, in a word, flat?
I expected more. I expected to win the game. I expected to, put 28, 30-something points on the board. So, yeah, I'm surprised and I'm shocked.
You can sit back and make excuses all you want. But, just plain and simple, we just didn't do what we had to do.
In that pivotal first quarter, the Rams were the team that just seemed to be more motivated. They wanted to silence their longtime playoff critics.
People saying, hey, we got 26th ranked defense in the NFL. We shouldn't even be in the playoffs. Stiff all that, man. I mean, we're here to stay, and I think we're getting physical after it. And we just got a bunch of good guys playing with their heart.
The Rams' strategy was to go to the air and test the Eagles' secondary no matter what the weather. that strategy was right on target.
Just more or less hoping to catch them in the right defense is what we was hoping, in zone coverage and the way they play off and inside sometime and try to take advantage of that.
We had some busted coverages, you know, by maybe one or two guys, you know, and that snowballed.
Once the Rams' game plan on offense clicked, their defense forced the Eagles into comeback football.
They were dropping a heck of a lot of people back there, you know, playing the pass, and apparently, you know, we weren't having that much. It didn't seem like we had that much problem blocking the guys up front. We just did not get the guys open because of all the people dropped.
It's a shame that such a good team like we are played so poorly, and that's what people are going to remember the 1989 Eagles for is this game.
From the fog in Chicago to the rain at the Vet, once again, a year and a season has ended in very sour fashion for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm Don Tollison, Channel 6 Action News with the Eagles at the Vet.
All right, Don. Next up for the Rams, a game against the Giants next Sunday. And the other NFC game next weekend, it's going to be Minnesota at San Francisco. AFC today, Houston was losing to Pittsburgh, but then Warren Moon to Ernest Givens. Will Ernest save Houston? Not today. Pittsburgh kept on plugging. First, a tying touchdown late in regulation. It's 23-23. Then they go to overtime. A fumble recovery by Rod Woodson. He does force the fumble. Look at number 26. He'll get the ball. It sets up Gary Anderson for a 50-yard try to maybe break the tie and win this football game.
This would win it. And Anderson's kick is good. The Pittsburgh Steelers have upset the Houston Oilers in the AFC Wild Card.
I knew when I hit it that I had enough distance, and I knew it wasn't going off either way. So I thought it was one of those deals where I felt pretty good as it left my foot.
It's a team effort, you know. What can I say? Everybody did a great job. I'm going to put a plug in for my offensive line. They kept me clean all day, and we're going to dinner.
Bubby is bubbling over because of the Gary Anderson kick. Here it is one more time from ground level. As Pittsburgh is going to Denver to play the Broncos next Sunday. Houston, see you next year. Jerry Glanville, who knows? He might be fine.
Oilers up the punt. Greg Montgomery's punt is blocked. Alsavsky is the man blocking it, and Pittsburgh is in business. 4 plays later on 4th and 1. Bubby Brister to Tim Worley. Takes it 10 yards for the touchdown. Chuck Noll's club on top, 7-0. Second quarter now 7-3. Bubby Brister again to Worley in a flat, but Worley can't hang on to it. Bubba McDowell recovers, sets up a field goal for Houston to make it 7-6. But on Pittsburgh's next possession, Merrill Hodge on the draw, breaks free, rambles 56 yards, gets it down to the Oilers' 26. That sets up a Gary Anderson field goal. 10-6, the Steelers would go into the locker room with the lead. Third quarter, Harry Newsom back to punt. McDowell is in there again with the block. Tony Zendejas would kick a field goal to make it 10-9. Pittsburgh had to punt again. This time Newsom gets it away. Kenny Johnson back there to field it. But it takes a weird hop, and Dwight Stone is in there to strip the ball free. The Steelers later added a field goal to make it 13-9, as Stone would set that one up with the theft. Fourth quarter, 16-9. Warren Moon with time. Fires the strike to Ernest Givens. Touchdown Oilers. Ties the game at 16. Houston's next possession. That combination again. Moon to Givens. Another touchdown. And Givens will give the fans a souvenir, perhaps a sign that Houston thought they had this game wrapped up. 23-16, but the Steelers come back on the reverse. Stone takes it 20 yards to set up a Merrill Hodge touchdown, sends the game into overtime, tied at 23. In OT, Lorenzo White tries to sweep left. Rod Woodson is there to apply the hit, and the ball comes right to him. He recovers to set up Gary Anderson from 50 yards. He nails a strike, a line drive, and the Steelers win 26-23. The Houston Oilers offense gained 100 more yards and had the ball for better than 8 minutes more than Pittsburgh. Still, they lost. The Steelers lost their first 2 games this year. 92-10 was the total. We're in the playoffs for the first time since '84. Oilers lose last 3 games, all to teams out of the AFC Central. The AFC Wild Card, they likely wouldn't have played today. Both teams finished the season 11-5. Good enough to win 4 of the 6 NFL divisions. But not the NFC West, where the Rams trailed the 49ers, and not the NFC East, where the Eagles trailed the New York Giants. So the two met in Philadelphia today in the NFC Wild Card game, and this one would be a good one if you were a Rams fan, and John Robinson, of course, is. Trying to get his first playoff victory in 4 years. Jim Everett goes to work, lost it. Isaiah Jenkins tries to go after the ball, loses the gamble. Henry Ellard comes up with it, clear sailing for the touchdown, 7-0, and Buddy Ryan shaking his head early. Second possession, Jim Everett hits Damone Johnson. 6 of his first 9 passes for completions. Everett says it's a touchdown. Take a look at the replay. It shows he is in. 14-0 for the Rams. Next possession, they drive again. 55-yard pass to Flipper Anderson. Sets up Greg Bell, but he fumbles. Wes Hopkins picks it out of the air. Heads upfield. He fumbles it, but they'll stop him back where he dropped the ball. Eagles retain possession. Isaiah Jenkins then picks off Everett. Heads up the sidelines. Gets it down to the Rams' 23-yard line. Or so they would think. Replay shows clearly he stepped out of bounds at the 50. Cunningham then back to pass. Sacked by Kevin Green. Rams led at halftime 14-0. Second half, Randall says, let's get it going. He moves the ball. First passing, then running, scrambles down to the 10-yard line. Randall Cunningham again gets it down to the 1, sets up a Tony touchdown. Randall responsible for 66 of the 80 yards in the drive. But the Eagles finally in trouble as Greg Bell turns out the lights, takes it down the sidelines. Isaiah Jenkins tries to strip the ball, gets it loose, but Bell hangs on to it. And then Bell will take it in for the touchdown. 21-7. The Rams go into Philadelphia and win. John Robinson, his first playoff victory in a northern city and his first in 4 years. The warm weather Rams, second straight win in the Northeast. They beat New England last week. The Rams' first playoff win in 4 years. The Rams didn't seem bothered by the bad weather as Jim Everett was 18 of 33 for 281 yards and 2 touchdowns. Greg Bell rushed for 124 yards and a touchdown. The Rams say conditions didn't matter. They were on a mission.
I just think we had the motivation. We wanted this. It's a question of will, and we just kept that mentality, that high spirit. And I think we kept fighting all the way through the game. I don't think we had any lulls. You know, I just think we played a good physical ball game. You know, in 15 rounds.
At some point, you ask someone to stop talking and start performing. And they continued to talk all the way up to the time. Last thing I heard them tell the ref was they're going to take the ref out.
The Rams will have to make it 3 straight in the Northeast next Sunday when they'll face the NFC East champion New York Giants at the Meadowlands.